And it is the Saturday Coffee Klatch with Heather Lofthouse and our friend Kamau Bell. Thank you for being here, Kamau.
Thanks for having me.
Heather, what are we going to talk about today?
There's so much to get into. So let's put a framework around what do we make of it, and what does it mean? Okay, because we're not just we've seen the news. We've been watching the news. We've been on our phones. So Minneapolis, this horrific murder of Renee Good. Let's talk about the shootings in Portland, and let's talk about Trump versus the world is what it's feeling like on every single level. We can also get into other things like the jobs reports. So I'm hoping you have a couple hours.
We have several hours here. I hope you have some hours. You want to start with Minneapolis. It's very difficult to separate all of these things because they are all interrelated, and it's very sobering. Renee Good, what a name for her. I mean,
you pointed this out in your Substack.
Yeah, my Substack that I did, I already had written my Substack for the week, but then this happened and I felt like I got one more in me. So I wrote this thing. And just the idea that her name is Renee Good. And as I wrote my piece, sometimes the universe is trying to insist that you learn the lesson.
And blonde and white and, Christian.
And by all reports from her friends and family, like a legitimately good person who had just moved to Minneapolis and wanted to be a part of the community and wanted to do some good in her community.
It was dropping off her kid.
So if you are the Trump White House, what do you do when you have an agent who has killed, murdered this kind of person? I mean, do you extend sympathies? Do you say, oh, we're terribly sorry, it was a terrible mistake, we're going to find out how it happened and we're going to stop it and we're going to try to never make it happen again? Is that what you do?
No.
You try to discredit her. You try to make her part of what? The left.
The radical left refer to her as a domestic terrorist and call this a bigger plot of domestic terrorism, that she's somehow connected to a web of domestic terrorism.
Can you imagine when the White House learned that she was white and suburban and Christian and has 3 kids, and she was not black? What was there? Damn.
Well, that's the thing when I had my Substack, I pointed out, like, you have to be clear that they are saying, and it should not matter, but we know the history of this country, it does matter, that the United States is saying it's okay to murder a white lady.
Now? You mean now?
Yeah. Which is historically one of the classes that the United States has
tried not to murder.
Yeah, tried not and protected, and also convicted people of murder when they didn't even murder that white lady.
If she's a lefty,
yeah.
If she's part of the whatever this left-wing conspiracy is that they're conjuring up, then a murder is okay.
So then we have the shootings in Portland also. So is it coordinated? I mean, is there a memo out there that says, look, anytime something happens, we're going to cover it in this way? Or does it just Trump goes out with a tweet, whatever, social, and then everyone just salutes? I mean, it is so fast how they all just fall in line with this.
I think it's the thing where they don't pay you to say the things you say. Because you say the things you say, they pay you.
Right.
So, I think they don't have to get on one accord, because if they weren't on one accord, they wouldn't be there.
Right.
So I think this is all under the umbrella of white male supremacy. Those talking points have been pre-written for years. Yep. So I don't think there's any sense of having to coordinate, and also
a memo to remind everyone.
No, and also if there's anything we know about this administration, not well organized.
Oh, I know.
Not well coordinated.
Not well trained. No experience.
Well trained,
But they do know talking points.
Yeah.
They know spin.
Yeah.
They know how to create their own parallel universe.
Mm-hmm. J.D. Vance has done a lot of that. He's really having his moment. I think he's really happy to have the cameras his way, because it's been a while. So.
And Stephen Miller.
Yeah.
I mean, the two of them are actually propelling this, and Kristi Noem is behind this as well. But what about all of these people who are ICE agents and Border Patrol agents and Homeland Security investigative agents? I mean, they're all out there now. I mean, you've got, and they're all armed, and they're in, many of them in cars or trucks or SUVs that are unmarked. Now, this is, I've been around for many, many years. This has never happened, to my knowledge, before.
In America.
In the United States, that you have all of these, an entire armed guard system out there under the authority of the President of the United States, in the states, in our cities, with guns.
Where military law enforcement is being used to police American
That's it.
citizens under the pretense that something so dangerous is happening that this has to happen, even though they are creating the danger. And that's what I wrote about my Substack, the idea that, and I don't know if you, well, yeah, you've talked about this. I feel like this is a thing that most men have had happen, where you're walking down the street and another man will just bump into you to start a fight with you or to see if you're tough. And we all have to, in that moment, decide, do I want to fight even though I don't want to fight, or do I want to walk away and feel smaller? And that's what that situation was with Renee Good. They're out there looking for fights. ICE is out there looking for fights. There was no reason, and the New York Times did a great sort of slow down explainer video of how she was not aiming the car at him. She was not trying to do it. She was trying to get away because this guy was looking for a fight.
And it's like, I'm teaching you a lesson.
Yeah. And I think they're being sent out to, given the order of, you can go out there and create your own justice. However you want to do that.
This is a really central point. You can create your own justice. That is, you being these agents and the Department of Homeland Security and Donald Trump. There's no accountability whatsoever. Nobody is overseeing them. It's not as if this is under a court supervision. It's not as if Republicans in Congress are supervising. Nobody is supervising.
There's no
these
warrants
people.
or paperwork we're looking for. They don't have a thing that says we're looking for Renee Nicole Good. Oh, you're her.
Right.
Here's the paperwork. They didn't know her from anybody. They just knew she was in the way.
At the very least. I mean, I think a lot of people I speak with say we have to get rid of ICE. First thing, if we get control of Congress, we get rid of ICE. I think the first thing is actually to take the guns away. I mean, there is no reason for all of these agents of the federal government to be armed.
Yeah. But so we've seen the statistics over time. So for a while, there were polls that said, 20% of the people polled want to abolish ICE.
And all those people lived in the Bay Area.
Exactly. And then now it's up to 42%. So a few people outside of the Bay Area.
Yeah, no, it's out of the Bay Area.
Right. So, but that's one thing. Okay, fine. So that's abolish ICE. But I mean, aren't people outraged? No one in leadership is outraged. I've seen no one step up, really, except Ken Jennings, who was,
Yeah, Ken.
Jeopardy.
I love that guy.
So the host of Jeopardy comes out and says, whoever's against this regime and gonna, go against them, I'll vote for you next time. But really, truly, where the outrage, I feel like people are in the streets, they've got their whistles, there are all these things happening. We're outraged. Leadership is not outraged.
Well, what is leadership? In this country right now,
You talking about the Democratic leadership?
Professor.
Who are the leaders? Certainly not.
The de facto leader of the Democratic Party is Zoran Mamdani.
Exactly. He's so busy.
Yeah. As far as that's the direction the party should
is
be
the
going.
leader of hopefully the future of the Democratic Party.
Yeah, that's the and I'm not in any way trying to take out AOC as a part of that.
Yeah.
Summer Lee is a part of that. Latifah Simon. There's just sort of that's where the party should be headed.
But how about the people who have official leadership? I mean, Chuck Schumer.
They're going over memes. They're like, what meme is going to be the perfect meme to say? I feel like that's where
fed to them by their staffers.
Yeah. What's a good meme to send to show that I'm cool and tough? Yeah, I don't think there's any.
But they are also thinking about the Democratic leadership. The midterms. How do we get the money from the CEOs and from the billionaires? And let's not say anything that is going to offend the CEOs and the billionaires, because they obviously then will not support us.
But you can't tell me that the majority of Americans are into this.
No.
I know it's all being spun everywhere we look, and I know that it's in fact, I think I mentioned this on a couple Klatches ago, but someone whose parents were like, I'm not subscribing to Fox News anymore. And part of the reason I'm mad, it's two reasons. One is I can't truck with this ICE stuff. It's so disgusting. And two, my grandson was fired and he worked for the federal government. So we are done. But so there's no way people are rah, rah, rah. This makes so much sense. I feel safe. This is great.
But
right?
Heather, isn't this exactly why the administration, the regime, is trying to create this left-wing conspiracy?
Us versus them.
Yeah.
I mean, in other words, you can them people if they are black, if they're Latino.
Yeah.
But how do you them people if they're white suburban women?
Well, I think it's easy because there's this also thing we've done that Trump's done a good job of. It's Minneapolis, so all of those people are
the Minneapolis people.
Yes, so
Yeah.
The Somalians are garbage.
yeah.
Garbage, he says.
And if you want to live there,
shithole city.
if you live in that shithole city, then
Yeah.
you're a part of it. You know.
Yeah. And then Portland. How do you get?
No one wants to live in Portland.
I mean, I think this is all the thing. Trump has done a great job of demonizing cities, which are often the economic centers of this country. Like, so Portland, it's either cities that have black mayors, large black populations,
Sanctuary cities,
lefty, cities that are
coastal.
known for lefty politics, like Portland, Oregon. I think so that if you're a person who lives there, then you're just a part of it. So Renee Good is Somali for as far as the right wing in this country is concerned.
But how big is that right-wing group? I mean, as you know, the old saying goes, first it was the done, and then it was the done, and then suddenly it's me. How far do things have to move before the average American who is confused and doesn't really
and
like
who doesn't
any
pay attention to the news
conspiracy-
that much anyway?
Right.
There's people in my life who I'm related to through my wife's side of the family who I would imagine I would ask about that, and they would be like, "Did something happen there?" That they're not actually paying as much attention. We have to remember,
Yes.
most people are not this. These. I'm pointing at the
I have
notes. we
5
for-
pages.
Yeah, most people don't have a page of news that they do a week. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I think most people. It's about you have to sort of be patient to get it to them eventually when they get it, which is why it's important to be in as many different spaces as possible, because you don't know where somebody's going to get the right information.
Well, people are beginning to focus. There is a lag time, but they focus on, well, there was actually a cold-blooded murder,
Yeah.
of a white woman.
But first we had to convince some people that it was a cold-blooded murder because
Oh, I
there was
know.
all the misinformation about she tried to weaponize her car. And I'm
Right.
still dealing with people in my comments that are like, you have to obey the officers. Because there's also people who think the moment you don't obey an officer, you're worthy of being killed, which
Yeah.
is not fundamentally how I think law enforcement is supposed to work.
No, and it's not.
Yeah.
But she was not. I mean, there's obviously going to be any kind of discussion about what the facts were, but the facts are emerging.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got the mayor. You've got the governor of Minneapolis. You've got and Minnesota. You've got people who are in official high positions who say, "We've seen the videos. We know what's happened." They being Trump and Kristi Noem and J.D. Vance are lying through their teeth. So you are an average American. What do you do about this? If you're an average American, what do you do about Venezuela? What are you thinking about Venezuela? Do you pay attention to the fact that no war has been declared? Do you care that we are suddenly trying to take over oil fields?
Well, so I think on the one hand, I don't think average Americans are thinking, God, this First Amendment it's really been trodden on this year.
No,
a lot of
they
times.
are not.
But I do think there's no way people are happy with this. But I don't understand when leadership, I feel naive because when Marjorie Taylor Greene spoke out, I was like, this is getting interesting. Like maybe this is a tipping point. And then when you went to Venezuela and did all that, I thought, oh, well, now there's articles of impeachment. Here they come. I keep thinking they're justifications.
Yeah.
This has got to be really bad, doesn't it? For either leadership to make a choice or for so many Americans. And there are little things we can all be doing. And I like that in your Substack, who's with me, you said, support your local radio. I mean, that's how people are going to know. Support NPR. There are lots of support food banks, support, all these things you can be doing. But how do we get people to grab onto it? I mean, these are violations. Haven't we reached a tipping point?
I mean, I think the one way that I think that people understand Venezuela is for a lot of people, and I would say I was like this until I actually learned a lot about Venezuela, where I did an episode of United Shades about Venezuela. It's like too far away. It's too not. You don't know any Venezuelans probably. You don't know. The way to go is like the money we just put into Venezuela is money that could be paying your health care.
Right.
But there's also, remember, Trump was elected basically on 2 promises. One, I'm going to bring down prices, which he hasn't. We'll get to that. Number 2, I'm going to avoid foreign conflicts
Yes, yeah.
and nation building. Now, on both of those,
It's all the conflict. It's all the price gouging.
It's the opposite. It's the opposite. The reality is the opposite. Now, you don't have to be a deep news consumer to know that we are in, and he is in deep shit.
Well, I think those people then often fall into the camp of like, all of these people are corrupt.
Yeah.
Like once you decide you don't like Trump, and then you look to the Democrats and Chuck Schumer,
Hey, that's a very good.
Thank you.
great Chuck
Just like
Schumer.
Chuck
Thank you. It's my Chuck Schumer impression. It's an instant Chuck Schumer impression. And you go, wait, is that the guy who's going to save? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think then it becomes easy to fall into none of these people I can trust. None of these people I can follow.
Yeah,
None of these people I
not
can
gonna
vote
vote.
for.
Yeah.
So I'm not,
Yeah.
all I got to do is worry about my family. So I think that's you have to get people out of that. Like once you go, I don't like Trump, I think you have to figure out how to get people out of, I don't like any of this.
Yeah. I don't like politics.
I don't like politics.
I'm retreating.
And as the phrase goes, if you don't do, people who say I don't do politics, then politics is going to do you.
Yeah, exactly. But then I think the affordability thing is what finally might get people out, right? Don't we always say
Yeah.
this? It's the economy, stupid, blah, blah, blah.
And
that gets bad
And we
enough?
did have an economic report yesterday that's showing that almost no job growth at all.
Yeah.
I didn't mean to sort of laugh. It's just the idea of the idea that the guy who, like you said, was coming in for the economy has created almost no job growth.
I mean, this is extraordinary.
I mean, I don't think I've ever heard of
But what does he do? Does it come out in the normal jobs report way, Mr.
No.
Former Secretary of Labor?
No. This is actually very important. He got a hold of the jobs report before the public did, which is not unusual. Presidents are very often do get these things. But then he released it on Truth Social
At 8:00, the night before.
the night before. I mean, you just don't know how much of the entire financial system of the world is looking at that jobs report, waiting for the jobs report, making bets on the jobs report, and he releases it at 8 p.m. the night before it's supposed to be released at 9:30.
So the whole system has been set up. It's very tightly regulated.
Very, very tight.
apparently not that tight.
Well, exactly.
if you just
No, this is
No, I'm saying I know
It
it
looked
is.
like a
It's
scanned
just,
piece of paper.
This
But that means, so then what? So then markets are going to people are jockeying and going to get
people. I think
insider trading.
It's insider trading. It is
But
essentially
is it insider trading when it's outside?
Well,
to
it's
everybody?
insider trading if the only person who knows is the president of the United States, who is a sotto voce dictator, and he's also trying to spread his power.
I like that you did it this way towards the internet this way.
Dictator. And he's trying to make everybody think that he's invincible and he has unlimited omnipotence. Yes. Information in his heads that nobody else has, and then he's saying, "I have it, I know it, and I'll leak it to you."
And he's treating it like it's his information,
Right?
Not the country's information.
And he's treating Venezuelan oil as if it's his oil. I mean, where it's a slush fund. Where is that money going? He will not say. He says it's not going to the Treasury.
Yep. This great PBS report came out and said literally it's going into offshore accounts, and he's like, listen, I'm going to make sure this money. I'm going to watch this money. We are going to get this money and make it right.
How many bankruptcies has he had?
Yeah, we're going to put this in a casino, one of my casinos.
Yeah.
No, this is really of deep concern. Congress is supposed to be in control of the money, the purse strings. That is what the Constitution says. But Donald Trump.
What about war?
And war, declaring war.
Yeah.
Well, the war also costs money, so that's why.
So you have a slush fund for that this Venezuelan oil is going into, controlled by Donald Trump, and Trump is calling the shots as to how this money is going to be distributed. He's even talking about giving money to Venezuelans. What is he? $10,000 to $100,000 a piece, buying them off.
Oh no, that's
Greenland.
Oh, Greenland. I'm sorry.
You're getting your corruptions
countries
confused.
Yes, corruption in one country leads to
get
corruption
your lottery,
elsewhere.
get your Trump lottery.
Yeah, no.
system
I'm
straight.
of course. Well,
I mean,
maybe,
it's hard to keep up with when you have
It's
this many.
hard- it
When you have
is
this many
very hard.
grifts going, it's hard to keep track of the grifts.
Well, look. I mean, if he gave each American 10 to 100,000, it would be one thing. But what is from his slush fund?
Or
Is
just
that
some
where it's
healthcare.
coming from?
How about just some health care?
yeah. I mean, I think he's treating this the same way he's treated all of his enterprises, as if they are his personal pocketbook.
But it's
Now
important.
it's America's budget and natural resources.
But isn't it important to remember that?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
that this is a government that's supposed to be self-government. That is, he is there for us. We are his boss. We are J.D. Vance's boss. We are Kristi Noem's boss. We are Donald Trump's boss. We
are Stephen
supposed to
Miller's
be-
disappointed boss, and we're going to call him
That's
to the
right.
office and be like, I didn't think we've done enough.
No,
here."
HR didn't answer. I was calling them earlier.
And so
this.
everything is upside down. I mean, we have a president who thinks he is omnipotent and has dictatorial control, and we don't have any leaders standing up to him, and we don't know. Most people in this country either don't know what's happening, are confused, or are so outraged, but don't know what to do.
Don't know what to do. So yeah, I think that the thing I just which I think is important you're saying, I think we have to normalize saying we are officially under tyrannical rule. Like we're not heading towards, it's not starting to look a lot like this is what it is. And I think that whether you want to call it dictator, fascist, autocrat, authoritarian, totalitarian, whatever, we got all the fun words, and all of them have different PhD programs. That's why I'm just going with tyrant. It's just the easiest one to not, you don't have to argue it. That this is what is, that any president who's doing the things you're saying, that's a tyrant. That's not a president. He doesn't think he doesn't think we're his boss. He thinks he's, to go old school, he thinks he's our king.
This reminds me of, I remember seeing all these documentaries, about dictators in other countries like Viktor Orban, and thinking, oh, this is so far away from us, but it's right here. And you made that series, United Shades of America.
I did.
I forgot you referenced that earlier. I feel like I need to rewatch that. I mean,
Well, CNN has pulled most of the Warner HBO Max, I just discovered, has pulled most of the seasons down off of HBO
you
Max.
said it right.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
Well, this is an
We're gonna
important point too.
re-air it.
HBO Max has pulled most of the seasons down. And what do we know about the entire news industry? I mean, what do we know about all of the people who
Monopolized and compromised.
Yeah.
own the news? CBS News, is it doing a good job under
Barry Weiss?
Weiss?
Barry Weiss.
And I mean,
It's Barry Weiss, isn't it?
what's
I mean,
Come on.
disrespectfully, I'm going to call him Barry.
Okay.
but Barry Weiss.
but
Right.
seriously, who's that new guy who's
Tony Ducapel.
I mean, this is my personal
This is the host for the
He's the new
evening
anchor.
news.
Really, he's
the
the
new
big
anchor.
CBS News new anchor.
And it's one of those promotions where it's basically like the guy who worked in the, not the mailroom, but he was not on track to be the anchor of CBS News. That is one of those things that, like, if you talk about like Dan Rather or Walter Cronkite, a position you earn over time through being a journalist out in the field and doing good work. He was one of the morning show hosts who is now the host of CBS News because he looks the part, and he
salutes.
He's willing to toe the company line, and he made that clear initially. He first came to prominence when he interviewed Ta-Nehisi Coates about his book on Palestine, and he made it clear that he was there to represent the interests of Israel and Israel alone.
Well,
As a journalist.
As a morning talk show host, as a guy who's also going to do a cooking segment in a minute.
exactly.
so he gets promoted
Yeah.
to be,
But promote passed by a lot of different places.
and the entire CBS News has become corrupt.
Yes, it started with CBS very clearly when Barry. Sorry, I don't mean to offend your friend. When Barry Weiss pulled a program that was supposed to be about the Seacaught, the Seacaught prison. She pulled the whole story of CBS News
For 60
From 60
minutes.
minutes.
60 minutes, and now Tony, who's started at the beginning of the new year. Every night he is revealing himself to be not qualified for the job. It is like the movie Broadcast News comes to mind about a guy who is like, he is there because he fits the suit well and he'll toe the company line, but his head is as empty as it could be.
But it's one thing to have an empty head. It's another to toe the line and do exactly what Paramount, the company that owns CBS, wants to do, and that is to suck up to Trump.
I think that the empty head and sucking up to Trump, I think they go hand in hand. I think it's the kind of thing.
Head.
Yeah, head to head. It's like the scene from The Godfather. He goes to Barry Weiss and goes, "My head is so empty. All I want to do is have money and success." You can put whatever you want in my head, and I will put whatever you want in the prompter. I will say it because all I want is money and success.
And
is a real
I
question.
won't criticize.
I won't.
Right.
I have no interest. My head is. I don't even know what to criticize.
Do you think he has imposter syndrome? I'm really curious about this.
Has any white man ever had imposter syndrome?
Very good question. Very good question.
Have.
Well, that's
Gen X maybe.
Yeah.
Gen X only.
I mean, we'd have
No.
to go through some names. I'd have to.
No, but I
take
wonder-
case by
I mean,
case.
I
He has no
just-
imposter syndrome because if he did, he would already have left.
I guess. I wish him the I wish him paralyzing.
But this is not. But let's not limit it to CBS News. I mean, we see, ABC, all of the networks, all of the major tech companies and their platforms. Many of them are towing the line because they are worried that you've got this dictator, fascist tyrant in the White House. Yep. You can't predict what he's going to do, but you can predict that he's going to be vindictive. Mm-hmm. And if he's going to be vindictive, he could be vindictive against me if I say something that is critical and he doesn't like it, and that hurts my bottom line.
Mm-hmm. Right. Mm-hmm. And is that why more Senate Republicans didn't step up in terms of Venezuela too, right? I mean, I feel like they're voting so that there's a vote next week, but only 5 of them.
Listen, that's a big deal, Heather. I mean, the fact that you've got 5 Senate Republicans taking him on in terms of war powers in Venezuela, thank goodness we have 5. Yeah. And in the House, the majority for the Republicans is now down to about 2 or 3. In fact, it could be even fewer. Yeah. And so they need every single vote. Michael Johnson it's amazing he's holding on.
I know.
And so the irony is that Trump keeps on moving to the fascist right as his majorities dwindle in the House and the Senate, and as his polls go down. I mean, it's like a cornered animal.
Which is why I think we have to be super careful, prepared, ready to fight when he declares in a few months, I don't know about this midterm, guys. I don't know. I'd like to do a midterm, but it just feels like there's too much trouble in the streets.
Well, is that what's happened? Is that now we get, a militarized country because it's been justified?
Obviously, let's hope and pray that doesn't happen. But the big picture, when you look at what is happening in our cities, when you look at the intimidation that people feel, because why should I stand up and object because I might be shot next? And these are unmarked cars, and these are people who are agents of Donald Trump with guns. And you look at other countries, and they say, whether it's Greenland or Venezuela or in Europe, I don't know what he's going to do. He's a madman.
But then what I keep thinking, too, is I drove to here today. I'm listening to NPR, and it was, I expected it to be about Venezuela and Greenland and murders and all of it. And then it was like, oh, Gavin Newsom and a bunch of other states are trying to get healthcare, childcare dollars back from. I mean, there's so many levels of trying to keep the country going, and I feel like this man is just so full of chaos.
But it's trained and directed chaos. That is, child care dollars are not going to Minnesota or California or Colorado or New York. Why? And Illinois. Why? Because they're all Democratic states. Yeah. I mean, he is simultaneously, with everything else we've talked about, declaring war on blue states. And the way he declares war on blue states, you're not getting anything. You're not going to get any benefits.
Ironically,
people are going to suffer.
And these are states that are ironically oftentimes the engine of the country, specifically California.
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, just last week, in the courts, for the first time in my knowledge and my experience, you have the administration arguing, the administration's lawyers, the Justice Department lawyers arguing it's okay to send benefits only to red states and not to blue states. I mean, this is no. I mean, it's one thing for a president to try to do that. It's another for the courts and law and the Constitution to say it's okay to do that for a president. I mean,
what happened to federalism? I thought we trusted the states.
What happened to a federal
stuff.
Government? I mean, really, what we're talking about here, when we're talking about federal agents on the street killing people, and we're talking about federal money not going to blue states, and we're talking about Venezuela and, lawless, completely lawless, without any war powers resolution. A dictator in Washington is deciding where he's going to go and where the money that is plundered is going to go into what accounts that he controls. Look at the big picture. This is what?
Fascism.
Okay.
May I quote you?
Yes. I'm sorry.
He copied it from your feed.
But really, I hope I'm not being unduly alarmist.
Yeah.
No.
But I think there is a very, very troubling pattern here, and it may have a lot to do with canceling the midterms, or it has to do with the fact that this is the last year. Everybody knows all of the people who are the supporters and grifters under Trump. They know this is the last year they can actually cash in. Or if you're Steve Miller, this is the last year you know you can really do the damage you want to do because it may be that Congress flips.
We need, articles of impeachment. What
does impeachment do?
I know.
What was it? Remember we did it last time twice?
I know.
No, but you've got you've got.
I'm not saying we shouldn't do it, but I just want to
No, I know.
When I was
right.
a kid, I thought impeachment was why Nixon left, and then later I grew up and that's not actually.
Yeah, I know,
he actually just felt shame.
Yeah, exactly.
He actually felt he was.
He thought he would be impeached.
Yeah,
those were the
yeah,
days when the Congress was a little bit more bipartisan.
That's what I mean. But he also felt like he felt so shamed about impeachment that he left, even though impeachment. And I thought, that must be impeachment means you get kicked out.
Yeah.
But and then I found out through Clinton and through.
But I think it would be helpful to see some rule of law actually working.
Yeah.
I mean,
agree.
just a little bit.
Well, remember, it's not
DC.
just Republicans in Congress or Democratic leadership who is not exerting leadership. It's also a Supreme Court that is enabling, that gave him carte blanche.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And he has created the situation so it works for him perfectly, so that he can. And if we had a real opposition party, they would at least make it more inconvenient for him to be a tyrant.
Yeah.
But we don't have that currently.
Well, maybe we will.
I mean, I have belief in the people I mentioned, like Summerlee, and I believe there are people here, but we just they need to be put in positions of power and authority that they currently are not in.
There are some good young progressives rising
Maxwell
up in the States.
And,
so many good ones.
Yeah, the Justins. Yeah.
Okay, so the other thing this is me writing to work. I'll just tell you all my stories that I heard on NPR. Yeah. The other one was about Kaiser and therapists there, and they're working with the union on AI, and how is an AI incorporated into their work? Can it replace them?
Therapists?
Yes.
Like therapy, like as in a talking
mental
therapist?
health. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, AI is a talking therapist.
Oh, because it's like, Heather, what a wonderful question you asked. I mean, it skews towards making you feel good. Yeah. But really, truly, so they were like, we want it to have it that it will not replace our jobs. And Kaiser's like, we don't want to use those terms. And so AI is serious, and we have been watching all over the internet as AI versions of you are popping up. But you and I were talking earlier about AI videos in your feed.
Yeah, there's like people, AI merchants, who they understand that like not only do you make AI slop for everybody, and everybody wants a different type of AI slop. So I've seen these videos of people confronting ICE. That if it's real, you'd be like, good for that guy for yelling at ICE in the face. Hope and getting away with it, but it's not real. But there's so many of them, and they're also so short that you don't even have enough time to take in all the information.
Right. That
you just sort of hit share, and next thing you know, you go, wait, why does that restaurant not have a real name? Why are the letters backwards and mushed up?
Right.
Why is that lady's face out of focus even though she's in the?
Why does she have 3 hands?
6 fingers?
Yeah.
But wait, who would have an incentive to create that kind of deep fake video? I mean, which side?
I mean, I think first of all, it's probably monetized content because it's the internet, and then also I think as we know, there are people who they just want to watch the world burn. It's chaos agents, and I think that they have learned. The thing that bothers me about this is content that if it was real, I would be likely to share it. Now, because I'm Mr. like be careful of AI, I'm catching it, but I know my mom wouldn't catch it, and so. It's a way to sort of like spread more misinformation. And it's also dangerous because these videos come mixed in with like actual videos of people being confronted by ICE. But it also puts people in dangerous situations because you shouldn't confront ICE that way because as we see, they will murder you.
Yeah. And I think paying attention to the midterms and what's happening around AI, it's going to be really scary.
That's my number one thing I do with my kids now is show them videos that are AI that you can't tell are AI.
Oh, good for you.
That's my like... We'll
figure out
AI that ought to be part of every school curriculum.
Yeah, because I think it's just, especially because now my oldest kid is on Instagram. No, I'm not going to say what her profile name is because we're very, and so I send her through Instagram things to go,
can you catch the AI, or this is a thing that's AI, and
it's like Highlights Magazine where you would circle
exactly, because I just think it's important that we have to be 2026 is one thing it's about is like don't believe your eyes until you double and triple check.
Yes. Well, it's also, we're talking about lack of job growth. I think AI is partly responsible because a lot of these firms are not hiring. They are putting AI in these jobs instead.
Yeah, my doctor was like, just text us instead. And I'm texting. I'm like, this is an AI platform.
Right.
I'm not texting anybody. But also, I see that are you selling off franchises? Because I've seen you on the internet.
I don't know what to do about it.
in
I mean,
AI.
it's AI. It's me.
I hope you
as
get a
AI.
piece of it.
No, and it's weird. Looking at me in AI, I don't. Ugh.
So we need to warn people. So first of all, there are AI versions of you that are chats that are coming in on Substack. Robert Reich is now wanting to talk to you on Substack because I got one of those the other day and I was like, Robert Reich 2345678. That's not his handle.
He opened a new profile.
Yeah, really, truly. And then all these fascinating ones on YouTube that you had to pull down. Can we just watch one just to get a flavor and to warn people not to trust this version of Professor Robert Reich?
A diplomatic headline slipped by unnoticed. Canada is opening a consulate in Greenland. Sounds routine. It isn't. Greenland isn't about ice. It's about power, shipping lanes, rare minerals, military access. This is how influence shifts. Quietly, strategically, before anyone's paying attention.
This is how influence shifts quietly, strategically, before anybody's paying attention.
Ooh, that was not bad.
Well,
I feel like it's like that scene in the movie where I'm like, wait, which one is you? Which one is you?
A little more nasal, I think.
You
think
got a little head cold that day.
Yeah, I did.
A little more on the chords.
And you were really
A little
nervous
more on
because
the
you were
chords.
really,
Yeah, you were fast for you.
yeah.
Well, it is frightening.
But there's like lots of those videos, just to be clear.
So
You're saying
many.
and some of them are successful in getting views that maybe even rival some of your videos, not to indict the person over there who makes your videos.
I am right now.
Yeah.
This is artificial
Yeah.
intelligence. It's a hologram.
It's a hologram. Oh,
I wanted to break it to you.
Yeah.
But it's so scary. And to your point, it's like it's not, it's using Bob to be pro MAGA.
Yeah.
It's like, I think, you would say, you've said a version of, well, you didn't say it that way. So they're pulling from real things that have happened.
No, but also look at
and
listen to the content. The content is about Canada and Greenland and the United States, and it is designed to create conspiracy.
Right.
But done in a way, this is the thing I think is scary, done in a way that if you're not a super savvy viewer, you might be like, oh, this is a little bit different for like it's not like you're suddenly selling like, crypto, it's done in a way that like that if you're not savvy, well, until
they just pick that up. That'll be next week's Coffee Klatch.
But it's done in a way, that's what I think is about the ICE videos and the videos of you. It's the AI creators are becoming savvy about how they put out. Because it used to be stuff that I'm like, well, I don't care about any of this. Why would I watch it? But this is stuff that I would actually pay attention to for a second.
Stephen Miller.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Stephen Miller. He's the
Prince of Darkness.
He's the deputy assistant for bigotry.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
I mean, that's there was a
Nice.
special. What did he say? He said, "We live in a world, in the real world, that is governed by strength, that is governed by force, that is governed by power. These are the iron laws of the world since the beginning of time."
Sounds like a guy who spends a lot of money on security.
Well, this is, yes, in fact, Trump wants to, and has already made it very clear, he wants to increase the Department of Defense next year, their budget by 50%. I mean, as if we needed a much, much larger Department of Defense under Hegseth and Trump.
May I do a quote too?
Yeah.
And then Kamau, you can have a quote. Trump's morality. This is what he said about himself this week. Are there any constraints, Mr. President? They asked him. Yeah, there's one thing. My own morality, my own mind. It's the only thing that can stop me.
And that wasn't a deep fake.
No,
That was
It was
actually,
just
but put those together.
deep real.
You have, his lieutenant for bigotry who is saying that essentially it's just might makes right. And then he is saying the only thing to stop me, and he was responding to a question about stopping him internationally.
in Venezuela.
If it's not international law, it's not the United Nations Charter, what's going to stop you? Well, it's my morality, the limits of my morality.
he
What
left
is the
out- he
limit?
left-
What is the limit of Trump's morality?
Well, he left out a part. It's my own lack of morality. He left
yeah,
out
he-
lack
shoot.
of, because that's what, as we all. There's nothing in. There's not a square inch of that man's entire life where you would say that is an example of morality.
Moral guy.
There is no morality there. There is absolutely an empty vessel. So on that upbeat note, I think we have to bring this to a close. Kamau Bell, thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thank you for having me. And I do want to say, and I did this in my Substack too. When you talk about these things, it also sounds scary and like what can I do? What can I wrap my arms around? How can I deal with any of this? And that's why I put in my Substack. It's just important to look into your community and look at things you can do locally. Whether that's volunteering, just Google volunteerism around me, volunteer opportunities around me. Whether that's supporting your local public radio station or your local PBS. Whether that's volunteering at a food bank. Somebody said if you have money, like donating to child care service centers where they take care of kids is a good place to do. There's any number of things you can do right now to at least make the load a little bit lighter on somebody else.
And
so
you-
don't get caught. Don't get scared of this stuff.
Well, yeah, and you can boycott companies that are enabling this.
Yes,
Yep.
You can also demonstrate.
Yep.
And there is going to be, we don't know the exact date, but there will be a third No King's Day. And I think that in a way, and we've talked about this before, and let me just wind up with you. And again, thank you, Heather. These are scary times. Scarier in some ways than last year, because Trump is unconstrained, unrestrained. There are no guardrails at all, and he feels that he is completely omnipotent, that there is nothing that can stop him. Now, this makes a lot of us feel powerless because we don't see that there are obvious things to do. But as Kamau said, and as Heather has often said, there are many things that we can do. There are many things we should do. In fact, activism is an antidote to feeling fearful and powerless and helpless. It is important not to retreat into your own private world at this time. I know the temptation is huge. It is vitally important that we get active in our communities, active as individuals, active in terms of reaching out to other people, active in terms of putting up a major resistance to what can only be called a dictatorship. And I'm sorry to say it, but that's what we are now not approaching. That is what we are now in. See you next week.
You too.